following is a breaking news alert brought to you by Main Event Madness. All right, guys, as you heard, this is Main Event Madness. A little bit different. It's on a Monday. It's a special report. We got a lot that just went on within the last 24 hours, really. Little bit of a different crew with us today. We got Evan Ginsberg of Legends TV and Legends Radio. He was the associate producer of The Wrestler movie with Mickey Rourke. If you guys have listened to our show in the last 3 months, you guys have heard us promoting a segment with him that we have never had. So hope you guys enjoy him. What's up?
So here we are.
Very insightful, very intelligent man. We hope you guys enjoy as much as I will his opinion, and this should be a very, very interesting segment, to say the least, when we get to talk about the Rumble in a little bit. And also with us, we got from ringsideexcess.com, that's XEESS, James Rolls, and wrestling-news.net, it's their head writer, actually pretty much only writer, Wayne Daly.
Bada boom, the realest guys in the room. How you doing?
Soft? All right, guys, so we'll save the Rumble for a little bit, unless you guys have been living under a rock. Still, I believe, almost 24 hours later, one of the top trends in the world right now is hashtag cancel WWE Network. If you're not Twitter savvy and you're still able to find us, A, God bless you, and B, we'll get into that in a little bit. But let's dive right into the big stories of the day, and that is, it is a Monday that will not have a normal Monday Night Raw. Monday Night Raw, which was supposed to emanate from Hartford, Connecticut, will not be emanating from the XL Center tonight. There is a historic blizzard, I guess, like a nor'easter, right, Evan? That's just pounding New England.
That's right. They're calling for 2 to 3 feet, and I'm very concerned that wrestling fans will roam the earth befuddled tonight like the zombie apocalypse. They're not going to know what to do.
Well, as I said to you, John, off air, if WWE were smart, they should really get onto Full Sail University. Ask them, can they tape with NXT talents? Or get onto the hotel where WWE talents are staying and ask them, can they use their conference rooms?
That, or why don't they just bump up the NXT airings? Air what was supposed to air on Wednesday this week on Monday, and then air next week's NXT on Wednesday.
That's quite possible. Well, I couldn't see him doing it though.
I couldn't. I know what you were talking about. You wanted like a Manhattan Center kind of look for a Monday Night Raw in like a conference center kind of thing.
Yeah, if you had the guys, like if you had people that were within about 5 to 10 minutes of driving distance from the area, like I don't want people driving an hour or two.
Well, they can't
stuck
even.
In the snow.
That's the biggest thing. They can't even drive. There's a driving ban and state of emergency and all that issued by the governor that the only vehicles really supposed to be on the road right now are emergency vehicles and state vehicles.
And after that, 9 p.m. is the cutoff for all of that.
I mean, they're kind of frowning upon anybody really being on the road now. But, yeah, like James said, after 9 o'clock, it's if you're on the road, I mean, unless it's like an absolute emergency, I think, that you're subject to an arrest, which is the main reason.
Plus, they're shutting down mass transit, the subways and such, so it's going to be hard getting around.
And I've been in New York City, that's going to be a good old clusterfuck if I've ever seen one. Whoops, forgot to get the bleep out. Oh, well. But, so what do you guys think? And then, I mean, they're talking about doing a live show on Thursday, I think you said, Wayne?
SmackDown is going to be the live show.
Sorry, Jim, sorry.
No, that's fine. Go ahead.
It was the XL Center. They sent out a press release, like, I think it was actually about 2 hours ago now. And they said that, at the top of their press release, it said Raw will be on Thursday. But the ticket information said SmackDown.
Yeah, that's the weird thing about the press release. I didn't really get that the subject said Raw, but everything else is saying SmackDown. And even Triple H tweeted not that long ago saying it was SmackDown.
Yeah, they emailed me and it says XL Center postpones Raw until Thursday.
Yeah, that's the subject, but inside it, in the ticket information, tickets for Raw will be honored
Thursday.
at SmackDown on Thursday. So nobody really knows what's going on, but I'm pretty sure it's like 100% SmackDown. Just some people are getting it a little bit confused.
Well, I mean, at least they don't have to go through the difficulties yet of having a Raw roster and a SmackDown roster. They're like, well, we have to have a 2-hour show with both rosters. So at least, I mean, they could have SmackDown be Raw. So, I mean, they'll get some good ratings for SmackDown this week, at least.
They should.
They should. Whether or not they will or not. And that... that, I guess, brings us to our next topic, and that is, was there anything else with that you guys wanted to touch on first off?
Well, I gotta agree with Wayne that I even said this on Twitter also, that if they really wanted to, I mean, they do have the NXT talents in Full Sail, and I don't think their usual arena would be busy tonight, so why not? They already have the equipment there. And it's not that far for talents to drive there. So,
and it's not like
realistically,
be hard pressed to get people to fill the NXT arena either, especially since NXT Takeover is filled up in 45 minutes.
All they have to do is just offer the tickets for free. So tickets are free, first 500 or whatever the arena holds.
I think it's 700 around what they can hold.
Oh, is it really that much?
I think so.
Like, yes, Triple H won't be there. Yes, Vince McMahon won't be there.
Not the usual stars will be there, but
I mean,
like
it's something to put on for fans tonight.
Yeah, and like you said in one tweet you put out that they could call it Raw: The Future Begins Now. It gives a chance for people to see on free TV the future of the business. It's Sami Zayn, Kevin Owens, Adrian Neville, Finn Balor, even though he's apparently injured now.
Which that's depressing.
Hideo Itami, all the future divas. They could realistically show off 3 hours of NXT, and I don't think anybody would ever complain about that.
Nope. Don't really have a complaint in my book about that, that's for sure.
Personal opinion, I'm actually surprised Triple H hasn't pushed for that to happen.
It's definitely an interesting and somewhat awkward situation, but if speaking of interesting and awkward situations, last night's Royal Rumble event, I mean, 3/4 of that show, the crowd was on fire. Absolutely on fire. And then the impossible happened. And James and Wayne, before you guys give your input, I'm very curious to see what Evan's got to say about this, and I have a feeling this is going to be highly amusing. So, Evan, what were your thoughts about last night's Royal Rumble match and pay-per-view overall, if you saw the whole pay-per-view?
My thoughts, it was just another meaningless pay-per-view, much like tables, ladders, chairs, stairs, steps, whatever. That the previous fiasco, it was a one-match show. The main event was tremendous, and the three-man, not the Rumble itself. The Rumble itself was endless, tedious, and of course, once Daniel Bryan was eliminated in the middle, it deflated the air out of the entire night, and the fans turned on them, and rightfully so. I think McMahon and Triple H and everybody down to Jim Ross have made condescending comments about the internet community not understanding pro wrestling. And I think when you have a live crowd of paid customers and they're clearly telling you the guys we love and support are Daniel Bryan, Cesaro, Dolph Ziggler, Dean Ambrose, Seth Rollins, that these are the kind of guys you revolve the company around, and Reigns is not quite there yet. I happen to like Reigns. I thought the Shield were the best tag team in WWE in 20 years since the Bulldogs, okay? But the show itself was nothing except for the main event, and then not listening to the fans. All they had to do was listen. These are the guys that the fans are behind, and these are the guys that they're not. And, Big Show and Kane have been around, since Abe Lincoln's assassination, and it's time for new blood. And I'm old school, but I mean, enough is enough. Big Show has turned 32 times. 32 times. At some point, you go, it's meaningless. It's tedious. Give someone else a chance. And Cesaro, who was on the pre-show. The pre-show. He wasn't even worthy enough to be on the main show. He's one of the guys the fans love, and that was the second best match of the night, ironically, and most of the people didn't even get to see it. So I don't know what else to say.
I mean, it's kind of embarrassing for Vince McMahon if you think about it. I mean, what is this? Oh God. Sorry. It's kind of embarrassing for Vince McMahon. I mean, to have the Royal Rumble crowd turn on you 2 years in a row. I mean, you knew it was going to happen with Batista last year. Because, I mean, I'm sorry, I just saw a picture of the Wayne showed me. You knew it was. You had to know Batista was going to win the Rumble last year. I mean, the guy came back the Monday before the Rumble. And, I mean, as much promotion and as everything else, and his friendship with Triple H, you had to know he was going to win last year, and they didn't want it to happen. So this year, you had to know. Well, I mean, nobody really knew, but I mean, a lot of people have said, and I know Wayne told me that he had a feeling that it was going to be Roman Reigns. Also, a lot of people did. Most people did. But like you said, Evan, I mean, just listen to the crowd, and I mean, my buddy and I were watching it last night, and we were laughing. Because this crowd was one of the best crowds. I told you, Wayne, I mean, this crowd reminded me of a UK crowd. I mean, this crowd was on fire.
And the show was mediocre until the three-man main event. I mean, and they were on fire, and they deflated it like a balloon. Once Daniel Bryan.
Oh, it wasn't they didn't deflate it. They exploded the balloon.
Exactly.
As soon as Bryan got eliminated, I mean, you could hear a pin drop for like the next 10 minutes.
They've been WWE representatives have publicly stated that the internet fans are a minuscule portion of their audience, and that's not who they're appealing to. Blah blah blah. But that was a paid audience, and they paid top dollar for these pay-per-views, and they didn't listen. They weren't interested. They're going to force-feed the guys they want to force-feed. I feel bad for Roman Reigns because I happen to like him, and, he works hard, but he's just not there yet, And you can't force-feed somebody when they're... the guys I mentioned before could wrestle circles around him at this point in his career. And they've been out there longer. McMahon, ever since I was a kid, there's photos of Vince McMahon squeezing Billy Graham's bicep and swooning like a teenage girl, and he's always had a thing for big guys with muscles and, whatever, and he thinks that he likes the whole superhero look and larger than life, and he looks at Daniel Bryan like he's a little guy and he's not a main event guy. But it's a different world. Vince McMahon is pushing 70. The fans are, I'm 6'2", 215. I'm bigger than Seth Rollins and some of these guys. But you know what? Seth Rollins is there. He's a total package. Daniel Bryan's a total package. The fans don't care about the size. This is what McMahon grew up on. I grew up on Bruno Sammartino coming to the Garden, and he was a blue-collar hero, and they had these monster heels like Ernie Ladd, who was 6'9", and Waldo Von Erich, and these guys towered over Bruno. And this was what McMahon was weaned on from his dad, and this is what he understands. But it's 2015. And you got to change with the times, and you have to listen to your audience. And it's the old adage: the customer is always right. The customer is always right. And these customers did not walk out happy yesterday.
And before I give another opinion, Wayne and James, I'll start with Wayne first. What did you guys think of the whole shindig that went down yesterday?
I agree with Evan with the main event. The main event was probably actually literally right now. I know it's January. That's actually a match of the year candidate.
Yep.
As for the Royal Rumble, they literally they deflated the crowd when Daniel Bryan was eliminated. Every talent afterwards was booed. And I mean, if you're in Philadelphia and The Rock raises your hand and you get booed, you know something bad's happening.
I mean, James, what
why didn't they let The Rock put him over? You have one of the best talkers in the history of wrestling. He's standing there with his cousin. You know, he should have sold him as a blue-collar hero who's paid his dues and worked his way up and overcame a terrible injury, blah, blah, blah. And they wasted it. They wasted that opportunity. They were booing him out of the building. And The Rock, the one time The Rock doesn't talk is the time he should have talked. It made no sense. Made no sense.
I agree with you as well, Evan, about Roman Reigns not being ready this year. And I said this to John off here as well, that they should save Roman Reigns for WrestleMania 32.
Exactly.
With like it's 110,000 fans, I think it is.
Roughly. And James, I don't want you getting lost in the shuffle here, man. How did you react to the events of the Rumble yesterday?
Well, I thought the undercard was average/okay, more on the okay side, not average. The main event, the triple threat match, like all of you said, I thought it was excellent. Early match of the year candidate for sure. And it also proved that Seth Rollins belongs in the spot he currently is, even more, and he could be in an even better spot in the future now after this. As far as the Royal Rumble match, you would have thought WWE would have learned from their mistake last year. More specifically, Vince would have learned from his mistake last year. But he didn't, and this is the spot we're in now, where Roman Reigns, a guy who is all right, like nothing against the man, but the worker, he's not all there right now. He's not ready, in my opinion, and most of your opinions as well. And it's not the right time for him, but Vince is so set on this that he can't think straight, can't see straight at all with anything. He said in the Stone Cold interview that he listens to his fans and what they want. Clearly he doesn't, and he's out of touch, even though he says he's not. Like Wayne pointed out, every wrestler got booed. There was the little pop for the We the People with Jack Swagger. You had something a little bit with Dolph Ziggler and Dean Ambrose, but
nothing brought
everything
them back.
Everything was just
nothing.
Nothing brought it back. The one thing that irks me is that Daniel Bryan was eliminated too early. He was eliminated before the 16th entrant came out. The 16th entrant.
I think their whole plan was that, all right, well, we have Bryan in the Rumble. Let's get him out early so that way he's not eliminated, right before right before Reigns wins it. Maybe they won't turn on it as much when they still have time for Roman Reigns to come in. Maybe they'll gravitate towards him because he's gone. Like, well, we're shit out of luck now because he's gone. Well,
I think the smart booking, and this is personal opinion, if they had the final two as Roman Reigns, Daniel Bryan, have him have like 5 minutes, have him work 5 minutes in the ring, and then have Roman Reigns eliminate Daniel Bryan. Bryan comes back into the ring, shakes Reigns' hand, and then leaves. Then you have The Rock come out, put over Roman Reigns, and the show is done. I think that way Roman Reigns would have been appreciated by the fans.
The other issue with the Rumble is you have 30 guys, and 25 of them have been so devalued on TV. You just go, these guys have no chance of winning. So that there's almost no suspense except for the 2 or 3 guys that have a shot at it. And you go, it's got to be, Ambrose or Reigns, basically. The other guys, that like Titus O'Neil, it's like a farce. It's an absolute farce. Why is the guy even there?
Oh, come on. You knew Sin Cara had a chance when he came into the Royal Rumble.
But that's my point. What's the point of having these guys there?
Hey, you know what? This match should still be going on right now because Curtis Axel
was never eliminated.
Exactly. That's what I was just going to say. This match should still be going on right now because Curtis Axel was probably still knocked out.
Just like his 5 million hour Iron Man match with Triple H is still going on.
Yep.
Still needs that victory from Triple H.
Yeah.
But, and Al mentioned something to me earlier that I actually had a good chuckle at. because he said, you know what? He's like, if they wanted to make the Rumble end better, he's like, they should have put John Cena in there and have John Cena and Roman Reigns be the last two, and then they wouldn't have been, or they wouldn't have been as mad. I'm like, no. I said,
Oh, jeez,
as
that'd
pissed
be
off
worse.
as that crowd was, they would have cheered Cena. If it meant,
but the problem is, like you just alluded to, they would have cheered Cena, but they still would have booed Reigns.
oh yeah, that's what
I
I'm
think
talking about. He was talking about it helping Reigns. Well, he would have beat Cena. They would have been
he still would have been
smartasses.
booed because I personally think it's been pretty obvious since Reigns returned from injury and had that singles match with Randy Orton on a SummerSlam, or no, but after the singles match with Orton at SummerSlam, it's kind of been pretty obvious he was going to win no matter what, and I don't think anything was going to change anybody's mind about him winning.
Well, I mean, as far as somebody who's going to WrestleMania, now I'm curious because and I my biggest thing was I thought Bryan had a chance to win it when he came back. Excuse me, because they had all the momentum. Oh, Daniel Bryan, and a buddy of mine kind of made a good point that it was kind of a red herring. That they put all the stock, put a head of steam behind Daniel Bryan almost, like hype-wise, going into the Rumble, and then he lost within like 15 minutes, if that. I don't even think he was in like 5-10 minutes. But I don't know. I'm just curious now because now they're backed in the corner. You got 62 days to try to make Roman Reigns mean a damn to the 75, 80,000 people that will be with me in California in 2 months, let alone the millions of people that'll watch on pay-per-view in the WWE Network. Now they got their work cut out for them. Let's see what they could do. And I saw something today that people just thought, they'll just put Daniel Bryan in and make it a triple threat. And I guess Vince is adamant that that's just going back to the well, that they won't do that again. And I don't know. Like I said, I'm curious.
Well, I'll tell you what I would do. I would have The Rock and Reigns as a tag team, and each and every match you have The Rock putting them over like $1 million because nobody's a better talker than The Rock, and I think he would get the rub. I think that's the only thing that would salvage him at this point.
If not even a tag team, have him as his manager.
A manager, tag team, whatever. Just have them together where The Rock's putting them over in some capacity because, this just isn't working. It isn't working. And it's not that, it's not that the fans don't particularly like Reigns. I think they resent the monster push and feel it's undeserved, and that there are others that are far more deserving of it. And they don't like to be force-fed. And that's exactly what's been happening.
Wayne, do you and I'll get your opinion too, James, on this. Do you guys think there's a chance they go the Batista route and see the crowd reaction so they turn him heel?
Who's this, Roman Reigns or?
Roman Reigns, yeah.
Well, literally, there's an interesting thing actually going on right now is that they're actually planning to turn Daniel Bryan heel. And I don't know if you've seen this or not, but the top 4 matches for WrestleMania is obvious. Is John Cena, Rusev, Reigns, Lesnar, Sting, Triple H, and The Undertaker, Bray Wyatt. But the talk going around now is that Daniel Bryan could be turning heel and taking on Randy Orton.
Why the hell would they do that?
It's WWE.
Oh my God.
I think that would just force the Yes Movement stuff even farther than it did after WrestleMania 28. If they turned Bryan heel, which would be ridiculous.
That's stupid. And I'd
realistically prefer the heel Sheamus scenario versus Bryan than that. I'd rather Rollins and Orton have a WrestleMania match that could possibly be a match of the night, and instead of a heel Daniel Bryan versus Randy Orton, which we've seen dozens of times now. No, please, no.
Well, we never saw a heel Daniel Bryan versus a babyface Randy Orton. We've seen Orton Bryan, but we've never seen the dynamics flip-flop. Don't get me wrong, I don't want to see that match, but one thing I think would be interesting if you keep Bryan heel, or face, I mean, have him against a heel Sheamus, and have Sheamus be with the Authority, and kind of be like their
That was the rumor going around, I think.
Have him be like their mercenary, you know, going out. Okay, well, you're opposing the Authority, Sheamus. You know how they lost Brock Lesnar and Paul Heyman's services or whatever after the triple threat, whatever the case is. So they need a new one. Insert Sheamus.
I don't think the fans care about Sheamus at this point.
But you don't
Personally,
think,
being Irish, I actually don't even care about Sheamus at this point.
you guys wouldn't even think that turning him heel wouldn't help, or at least be something fresh for him?
He's lost a lot of momentum, man.
Well, yeah, because they spent what? He returned at the Rumble in 14, right? He returned and did absolutely nothing for a year. Oh no, he was injured for half the year or something like that, wasn't he? He came back, then he got injured,
at
then he
Money
came
in the
back.
Bank.
Huh?
He got injured at Money in the Bank this past year.
And then was out, and then came back, and then was out
he's
again.
Been out since then.
Oh, God.
He's another guy that's solid enough in the ring, but the fans felt he was overpushed because he was Triple H's buddy and gym partner or whatnot, and they didn't feel the push was deserved. And this is always going to work against these guys. With Daniel Bryan, they understand this guy's honed his craft around the world and Ring of Honor. He's been out there for 10 years. He's earned it. And they're behind him. And, it's ironic because generally the belts mean nothing at this stage of the game, particularly the Intercontinental belt. It's meaningless, but with Bryan, it's such a human interest story. The little guy who's worked his way up all these years, and a real underdog. David versus Goliath, and they're totally behind them. They believe in the story. They believe in it, and that's very rare in wrestling. And they're not capitalizing on it because McMahon doesn't believe in it. Which is ironic.
Going to be interesting to say the least going in, especially, they went out of their way to say that this is the last title of defense before WrestleMania. This is the main event of WrestleMania. So is the title, even though Brock was advertised in the Fastlane promo, is Brock not defending his title at Fastlane? Or, I mean, which I can't imagine that he would.
Do you think Brock's actually going to appear?
Do I honestly think so? No. It'll probably be a tag match. John Cena and Roman Reigns versus Rusev and Seth Rollins or some crap like that. Or I don't know. Just to say.
You know what I pay money to see? I pay money to see Reigns versus Ambrose versus Rollins. That would be great.
That would be a good match. And a lot of people were kind of hoping that was going to be a WrestleMania main event.
And that would make sense. That there's a history, and some of them are faces, some of them are heels. That would work. It would work. And for some reason, they're not pursuing that.
I just still don't understand what Fastlane is all about. To me, it just seems like Over the Limit is rebranded.
That's what it kind of seems like to me a little bit too. But, well, the worst part for them is they got 3 weeks now to, let's see, do they even have 3 weeks? They've got 1, 2...
They got until the 22nd.
Yep, so they got 3 weeks worth of Raws and SmackDowns and one Super Show to build all these people, which they lost at least 30,000 people supposedly quitting or canceling their WWE Network subscriptions last night and this morning. And didn't you say something, Wayne, about the network being free this month too?
Yeah, they're meant to be offering the network free for the whole month of February.
Because that's not salt in the wound or anything. They got a lot of work to do, man. And and we're gonna talk about it a little bit on Main Event Madness on Wednesday. Is this just get a brief thought from all three of you guys before we wrap this up? Is this the time that Vince should be stepping down? Let's see. We'll go with James first.
I do think it's about time Vince at least starts transitioning away from the role of being the head guy. Triple H has proven himself with NXT that he knows what the fans want. He knows how to make a good wrestling product, and I think it's time he takes over the reins of the whole company. And like I said, maybe not right away, but Vince can start transitioning. It's a slow process, maybe a year or so, but it has to start happening soon because he's not listening to the fans, and eventually that's going to bite him in the butt. So
if it hasn't already,
I want to start taking a step back.
Wayne, what do you think?
I agree with James as well that Vince needs to step back from the company. Let Triple H run things, and if last night was any indication, Vince doesn't know his own fan base.
And I think he's been out of touch for quite a while. Some people, and I can't agree with them more, have called Vince tone deaf. And Evan,
like some people might just say that it's the interrupting. Some people might say it's just the Philly crowd, but I mean, if worldwide fans are reacting like that, then you know something's. As I said earlier, you know something's major's going down. Like,
where were they last year for the Rumble?
What's that?
Where were they last year?
Yeah, where were they last year for the Royal Rumble?
Pittsburgh.
I believe it was actually Pittsburgh.
Okay, so
just up the road.
So yeah, it's only a few hour drive between Philly and Pittsburgh. So yeah, pretty much the same fan base. Okay, makes sense. And Evan, really quick.
I think you have a promotion that's almost schizophrenic. You have some of the greatest wrestlers on planet Earth in NXT, and you have some of the stalest wrestlers on planet Earth in WWE, and it makes no sense whatsoever to me unless they look at Next as just cheap programming and bring some of those guys up and freshen things up so you don't put all your eggs in one basket like they're doing with Reigns, and people are rebelling against it. I mean, you have 10 guys who are worthy of that spot, and it makes no sense to me. These guys on Next are ready. They don't need to be, retrained to be lesser wrestlers. These guys have main evented for New Japan all around the world. Let them go. Let them go. Come on.
I can't agree with you guys more. I mean, how much more? I mean, especially if as many people threaten to cancel their network, as much as they're holding those subscriptions near and dear to them. I mean, how much more can they really afford to lose subscription wise? I mean, it's got to be killing them financially to free month pay-per-views for free at that. Because you're not getting pay-per-view buys when you could get the network for free for a pay-per-view.
Well, ultimately, that's all they're going to care about is what hits them in the pocket, because they verbalize that they don't respect the fans' opinions, at least the internet fans. So, it's going to be dollars and cents. And if people, react like they did yesterday, that will make them listen. That's what always makes, billionaire corporations listen, when it hits them in the pocketbook. And they could bitch all day and night on the internet. That's not going to do it. It's canceling those subscriptions. That'll have the cumulative effect.
Absolutely. And we're going to touch on this more, guys, in a couple days on Main Event Madness. We should be back regular time, 12 p.m. to 2 p.m. Eastern. It's going to be me. I don't know if Wayne's going to be along with us. Are you going to be along with us, sir?
Let's just say potentially.
And it's looking like it's going to be me and Joel O'Brien, the host of Wrestling's Rope Break, which you guys can check out, maineventmadness.com and on Spreaker.com/show/Wrestling's Rope Break. That was a mouthful and a half. James, thank you for coming on. Wayne, thanks for getting this little shindig together. Special thanks to Evan Ginsberg. Check out Legends TV, MadhouseTV.com, Legends TV NYC. Did I get that right?
Yeah, LegendsTVNYC.com.
I'm always heading up Madhouse TV. That's why I can never remember the other one. Sorry about that, Evan. But you guys check out Legends TV. It's a great show. They got some good acts on there. It's about what? About an hour and a half long usually.
It's a variety show in the tradition of Joe Franklin, who just passed, and we've had everybody from the Colbass, Lanny Poffo, to million-selling recording artists, to indie artists, hip-hop artists, comedians. It's a crazy mishmash, and somehow we make it all work.
I've watched a few of the shows, guys, and I'm definitely telling you they're NXT. I'm sorry. I was looking at something on there. It's entertaining. The shows, you know what? It's a great time to sit down, relax, grab a cold beverage, and just you won't regret it. That's for sure.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
So that's it, guys, for a little special report here. Main Event Madness going to be back Wednesday, like I said. As is the case with every time, I'm just rambling. I'm going to shut up. We're out of here. See you guys again on Wednesday, God willing. Have a great night, everybody. It's going to be a weird one, like Evan said. Don't go too crazy, guys. It's a Monday. There's no wrestling. I know it's weird. We can only count on one hand how many times this has happened in the last 20 years. But have a great night, guys. We'll be back next week, in a couple days. See ya. Thank you so much for joining us. Miss a part or all of today's show? No problem. Head over to maineventmadness.com where you'll find today's show as well as every show in our history. So once again, for all of us here at Main Event Madness, I'm John Curry. Have a great rest of your day, and we'll see you back here next time. Have a good one, everybody. So long.